Welcome in to Rock Hard Ball, part of the Dogs Media Network at College Football Dogs. Let's get rock hard. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another edition of Rock Hard Ball. As always, I'm Karter. That is Weezy, and we're ready to bring you guys another fantastic episode. As always, please make sure to go check out the socials. We got Facebook, Twitter /X, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, all that good stuff. Go, follow, subscribe, like, so you can kind of keep up with everything that goes on with the show. For some reason, our Twitter account is down again. For God knows why. We finally got it up last episode. I think it might have been because I changed the profile picture. So I guess rain down hell on me. But yeah, for some reason, X is just very peculiar about that stuff. So thank you again to the guys at the Golden Boot. They've been very helpful with streaming on Twitter since we've been kind of dealing with that thing, getting verified, and then also Facebook. Facebook's the biggest one. If you guys could kind of please go like that so we can stream directly to Facebook. Again, very thankful to the guys at the Golden Boot, but hopefully at some point we can start streaming to our own page again because they put some new rule. They had to have 100 followers, which we do not have yet. I think we're sitting about 60. So
yeah, greedy Zuck.
Greedy Zuck wants us to get those likes up. So make sure you go check out the Facebook, search Rock Hard Ball. It should come up for you. But yeah, a lot of good things on the docket for today. Show rundown. We got all 32 NFL teams getting back in action with the preseason. So that's getting kicked off here with week 1. We've had some games going on right now and / tonight that have already kind of wrapped up and stuff like that. So we got that going on. We'll get our thoughts on the NFL's top 100 players list. If you remember from Monday, we kind of talked about how we were going to talk about that a little bit, give you our thoughts, I guess, on, who was too high, who was too low, stuff like that. And then also some of the bigger snubs that maybe didn't make the list that should have. So we'll get into that kind of stuff. USA basketball survives and advances. They were able to get through the semifinals in a little bit of a scare versus Serbia. So we'll get into that game a little bit, break it down. Very good game. So we'll talk about that. And then, of course, we'll wrap things up with Rock Hard Takes today. Our theme for Rock Hard Takes is going to be things that we could go pro in. So that should be a good one for today. So make sure you stick around for the end because I think that's arguably the best segment each week. So make sure you stick around and watch that as well. So that being said, before we kind of get into the main stuff there on the show rundown, there's a couple kind of quick hitters that we want to talk about with the NFL going on. First things first, we got some wide receiver drama going on in the NFL. We have the Brandon Ayuk situation that we've talked about pretty much all year or all offseason long, it seems like, because that's just been constantly in the, rumor mill with Ayuk. Does he want out or does he want to stay? Do the Niners want to move on from him? Do they want to keep him? If they do keep him, they're going to have to pay him. All that stuff. For the first time, it seems like we finally got some traction, I guess, if you want to say, to the trade rumors.
Yeah.
The Patriots were interested, kind of backed out. Now the Steelers are interested. Weez, what do you think? Is the Ayuk deal finally going to get done, or are we going to just kind of keep playing this little merry-go-round?
I think so. I said before, weeks ago, that I think he can't bring him back after everything that's going on. I don't know where he goes, but I think by the start of the regular season, he goes. I don't know what you think about it, but.
Yeah, I agree. So I think the biggest deal that this whole thing kind of encapsulates that a lot of people think about is it's not like he just wants out of San Francisco because he doesn't like it. Obviously, San Francisco is a great place to play football. Hell of a team there. The biggest issue is the contract. He wants a new contract, a contract extension, and San Francisco just isn't really willing to do that. So that's why he's kind of holding out, doesn't want to play, wants to be traded out. So that's why the Patriots were kind of in the running a little bit. Obviously, they need playmakers. They might have the worst skill position group in the entire NFL. Probably not even really a debate. I think they are the worst. And they were kind of in the talks for him. I guess they talked to the 49ers, and eventually they kind of bowed out because I guess Ayuk, still for them, wanted too much money. They said they were fine running with the group of guys that they got. Bold move by the Patriots saying that to begin with.
I don't know, though, because how much is he asking for?
I don't think it was crazy. I mean, it wasn't like, I can't remember what the exact number was. I don't know if there was an exact number shared, but I don't think it was like top wide receiver money. I think it was up there, but
I think if the Patriots say no, it probably was top receiver money. Which at that point, it's like, why would we pay Ayuk all this money? It's like, yeah, we're still rebuilding. Like, we just got a quarterback. Like, you don't need to go spend a shit ton of money on a guy like Brandon Ayuk.
Where do you put him? I guess we're going to get into the top 100 players later, and he does make an appearance on that list. But where do you put him, kind of in the hierarchy of receivers? Maybe not so much just a numerical ranking compared to all receivers, but from like number one, like, do you think he's a top? Could he be a top tier one? Is he like a mid level one, or just like a very, very high end two?
I put him. I might be way off, like what you think. I put him like where like Devontae Smith is in terms of like the best number 2 in the league, and would probably be a 1 on almost every team. But I don't know how good of like a true 1 he is.
Yeah, that's probably about where I'm sitting too. The
So
biggest problem with a guy like Ayuk too, in my opinion, is we've only seen him in an offense that's completely built to just run like a well-oiled machine, and he's not the top threat. There's 2 other threats on that team that are bigger than him: Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. You could argue 3 with George Kittle.
George Kittle. That's what I was gonna bring up before. It's like Ayuk's very good. What does he look like with the Patriots? Where like everybody's gonna know that they're gonna try to get Ayuk the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Patriots specifically are, like I said, god awful outside of maybe Brandon Ayuk if he were to somehow come in. But Steelers, looking at that situation, I mean, how much of an upgrade do you think that is for them? Obviously, they've got Pickens there, but outside of Pickens, not a whole lot of playmakers. That could maybe take the Steelers offense to another level too. I don't know what you think, but
yeah, I think it could be big. I think also like main problem for them is figure out what you have at quarterbacks right now. Because obviously they have 2 technically 1 guys, I would say. I think it makes the most sense to me because I think it, like I said, like you said, it could definitely boost that offense for sure, and it would.
Who do you think is the one in that situation, Ayuk or Pickens?
Ayuk, 100%.
People are high on Pickens, so I don't know. Some people have different thoughts, but
he's good. I just like Ayuk comes in, he is the 1 guy. Like he's the number 1 guy.
Fair enough. All right, so the Ayuk situation, kind of again sit and wait situation that's kind of been all offseason. I feel like I've said that a million times, but another one that's been a sit and wait that again has just picked up a little bit more steam because I mean wide receivers in particular and just professional athletes in general, but especially wide receivers in the NFL, they love just drawing attention and speaking their mind on social media, stuff like that. So we have CeeDee Lamb now, who this wasn't originally on the doc to talk about because it just happened within the last couple hours, but there's a video of Jerry Jones by some beat reporter in Dallas. He was videoing him asking a question, what's the deal with the CeeDee Lamb contract? Where are you at? Because for those who don't know, CeeDee Lamb has been holding out. He is not practicing, stuff like that until he gets a contract extension with Dallas. And obviously he is in that, echelon that would be, if he gets a new deal, it's going to be probably the highest deal that we've ever seen. Just like it always happens when there's somebody that's, whatever, top 5, top 8 of the position that gets a new deal. Jerry Jones said, let me pull up the exact quote here. I don't have any urgency to get it done. That's what Jerry Jones said in the clip. And then CeeDee Lamb took to Twitter, went to that same tweet of the clip and just quote tweeted it and goes, LOL. Again, it's offseason, so we're going to kind of pick at what we can get. How much you read into the whole, Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb getting a deal done? I mean, Jerry's trying to put on a tough guy persona, but we know he usually pays. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Not much. He's going to pay him. It's just a matter of when, which obviously I get if you're CeeDee, you're pissed off by the, I don't have any urgency to do it, but it'll get done. I don't read too much into this one.
Yeah, the whole Dallas situation, though, will always kind of confuse me because, again, Dak just always seems to be in contract talks forever, it seems, because they just always give him, they always give him a high, annual average contract, the AAV or whatever. He's always up there, but his contracts are never long. So I don't remember why I saw it the other day, but there's, again, just talk about, something about, Dak Prescott, impending, contract negotiations. I don't know why. If Jerry is really confident in these guys, just pay them their money and extend them because, like you just said, they usually do pay him. He usually, gives in. Just give a long contract so we don't got to do this every goddamn offseason with the Cowboys. It's getting annoying.
It's frustrating for sure.
It's just every year.
He will pay them.
Yeah. But we always got to have the divas that are going to, take social media. I mean, we went through with Des Bryant, Ezekiel Elliott, every year with the Cowboys. They just have drama. And I think part of it is really just almost on purpose by them. I think that, again, they're the Cowboys. They love the attention. So I think they go after that stuff a little bit anyways, but who knows? Moving on, out of the wide receiver drama, quick little, hitter for NFL news that's somewhat relevant. Excuse me. Nick Foles has officially retired from the NFL. Super Bowl MVP back in 2017 with that run with the Eagles. One of the weirder careers probably in NFL history, honestly. I mean, he comes into the league. He was a, 3rd, 4th round pick, something like that. In 2012, I think. He, sits behind Michael Vick a while ago. Think about that at the Eagles. And Vick goes down. Foles comes in. I think he broke an NFL record or tied it with 7 touchdown passes in a game.
Yep.
He has the best touchdown interception ratio in NFL history that year, 27-2. And then, he breaks his collarbone, I think, first or second week of the next season. All of a sudden gets traded to the Rams, struggles there in that Sam Bradford deal. And then just kind of all over the place, bounces around his backup. Obviously, that run in Philly comes. He takes him, wins the Super Bowl MVP. Wentz goes down the next year too. They keep him on as a backup. Wentz goes down again. He comes back out, leads them to the playoffs, wins that game against the Bears with a double doink, one of the more historical games in playoff history, recent history anyways. And then again, just kind of keeps bouncing, goes to the Bears for a little bit, stuff like that. And then now he finally hangs it up. He got hurt in his last game. Feels pretty just, I don't know, good, like makes sense for Nick Foles that he got hurt in his last game. And now he just hangs it up. He's going to go to Philly to retire. I don't know. Anything you wanted to add or thoughts on Nick Foles' career, I guess?
Weird career. Super Bowl champ, though. So hell of a career, Tim.
Yeah. Kobe, I'm not going to shut up. I'm just going to shut up about the doink. It was super funny. That'll live in Bears infamy forever. I don't really care to comment on Nick Foles' nickname.
He's hanging meat.
It's a good nickname, I guess, to have. It's a one that most guys would probably be happy to have, but we'll let the man's career ride off and with some dignity, because he was Super Bowl MVP. That was a super cool run for the Eagles. But yeah, Foles is going to hand it up. So good weird career to Nick Foles. One more thing on that, really funny. I saw somebody commented underneath his retirement post and said that Eli Manning is basically just Nick Foles but twice. So I don't know. That's pretty good point, honestly, because Eli Manning is now Hall of Fame eligible coming in the next year, which has been a debate, I feel like, forever, even when he was still playing. Is he going to be like a guy who can actually get into the Hall of Fame? Very lackluster career for pretty much all of it, except for the 2 Super Bowl runs, right? I don't know. What do you think? I know we're kind of getting off topic.
I still don't know. Do you think he gets in or no?
I don't think he's first ballot, but I think he gets in eventually.
I would agree with that, but like, I don't know. It's because you're right. It's weird. I think he probably does get in just off the sheer fact of taking down the undefeated Patriots. But
I mean, even his entire career, it's like, other than maybe the last like year or two. I mean, his last year or two was really bad. But like, even in like his prime, was he ever like he was never a top 5 quarterback.
No.
And there's most years you could argue he wasn't even top 10. And so it's tough to put a guy in the Hall of Fame that had that kind of career.
But how much do you think name recognition though helps with that though?
Oh, a lot. That's what I was eventually going to get to is, yeah, he's got Manning on the back of his jersey. So that's huge. And again, they value winning championships. They value big awards, Super Bowl MVP. But yeah, he was never, I don't think, an elite quarterback. I mean, there's so many other guys from his era that overshadow him. Drew Brees, Tom Brady. I mean, I would say he was on a worse team, never got the big one, but like Phillip Rivers was a better quarterback than he was. Ben Roethlisberger was a better quarterback than he was. Aaron Rodgers was a better quarterback than he was. There's so many guys. Cam Newton's short run, I would argue he had a better career. If you take away just the Super Bowls from Eli Manning, Cam Newton had a better career than Eli Manning did.
He did, for sure. He's very polarizing in that sense.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, that's something that obviously we'll probably talk about as we move forward into next offseason. There'll probably be a talking point. Will Eli Manning get in on the first ballot? We'll see. But yeah. All right, let's get back to business here. Next thing we're going to discuss the NFL top 100 players list. We'll kind of just go through the list one by one, talk about who made it on. Obviously, this released, I don't know, close to a week ago, I think. But Monday, Monday we had a pretty packed show, so we put it off till now. But now we'll kind of get into it. So we'll slide this over, get this up here. So here's players 81 through 100. Some notable names on here that we seem to see quite often. Levante David comes in at 99. We got Terry McLaurin, Cam Hayward, Tariq Woolen's up there. Aaron Rodgers way down at 92. Probably one of his lowest rankings he's probably ever had. I don't know for sure off the top of my head, but going back till, since his probably first or second year starting, I have to imagine it's probably the lowest he's been. Harrison Smith, who seems to be a perennial appearance on here. Trevor Lawrence pretty low as well, 94. We got Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley there at 86. 81, Kirk Cousins, Montez Sweat there at 82. Tristan Wirfs makes an appearance at 85. We use anything on this kind of first slide that kind of jumps out at you? Any of these guys that you think maybe should have been higher or lower on the list?
Yeah, I think Wirfs should be higher. I think he's one of the better, offensive linemen in the league. I think 85 is disrespectful, but I get it. He did not have the best year of all time last year, but I think 85 is a little bit too low for him. Yeah.
I also would say, again, this is the thing to kind of remember with the top 100 players list that comes out every year is it's based on, I believe I'm right, it's who we think is going to be the top 100 players going into the next year, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, because obviously Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be on here for his last year because he didn't play the entire year.
That's my pet peeve. I don't think he should be on the list.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to kind of get into because we got a guy like Rodgers who's on the list, didn't play all year. He's at 92. And we'll get into some more here later with the snubs, but like one that I'll just bring up right away. Matthew Judon from the Patriots. The Patriots are the only team who didn't have a player on the list. But like Matthew Judon has been a top edge player in the league for years. He's been very, very good. And I mean, I still don't think he's like old to the point where he's not gonna, be a high level contributor. Obviously, the Patriots are bad, but like a guy like him, I think he gets punished for not playing last year. But then we have Aaron Rodgers, who's going into what age 38, 39 season. And I love Rodgers. I think he's still gonna be good, but I don't really understand why like he makes it, why he kind of gets the grace, but like Judon doesn't. Like I think Matthew Judon was like 35 or something last year.
I don't know when this list is taken, but also I saw Judon's been in the headlines recently on how he wants out of New England, and like he's not worried to hold out. Like, is it some consideration that he doesn't really care to play with New England?
Yeah, because again, this is voted on the players too, so maybe that plays into it a little bit. But I think this list is always really telling because as much as the analysts and stuff can rank people every single year. I think that just kind of the respect of peers is a really big thing. And you also will get into it obviously later on, but you'll see some people who I think were just petty too with votes for some guys who obviously should have been higher as we go forward with this. Jason had a quick comment here. It's future Pro Bowlers. He actually said meant Hall of Fame, but we kind of get what you're saying. Does Lamar talk about Lamar Jackson getting the Hall of Fame? Does he get in if he wins the Super Bowl? We'll hit on that really quick. Because we'll obviously talk about Lamar more here later on in the list. Yes. But you think he's a lock right away if he wins the Super Bowl?
If he wins the Super Bowl, yes. I think he is, though, too. Even if he doesn't, like projecting, though, obviously that his career still goes the way it is now. He's still, if he puts up great numbers, he's got the MVPs behind him. I think so.
I'd agree. I think I don't think there's ever been a multi MVP who's missed the Hall of Fame. I don't even know if I don't think there's hardly been any like single MVPs that have missed the Hall of Fame. Very short list there to begin with. So
I also would argue it's almost because there was conversation about Matthew Stafford before that Super Bowl.
Yeah,
does he get in? He didn't win any MVPs. He was just a very good quarterback for a very long time. And like Lamar does have them. Mm-hmm. So I think if he does, Lamar's for sure going to get in as long as he stays healthy.
Well, and then like really quick on the Hall of Fame conversation here, it's like Stafford too is a guy where I honestly think, I mean, obviously he's got the Super Bowl now. But so it doesn't matter. He's going to get in. I think even before the Super Bowl, he's a guy who, again, if we're truly just talking about how good a guy was, as an individual, Stafford was, I think by most people's account, more deserving than Eli Manning was.
100%.
Or is. So, yeah, again, it's really annoying in football, especially it's a team sport. So it's like, let's look at a guy's individual stuff.
And you looked at Stafford, his entire career in Detroit, like they weren't good. Mm-hmm. They had a couple years in the early 2010s with Megatron and Sue that, like, yeah, they were, a decent team, but they weren't anything, to talk home about.
Yeah. Next list here on the top 100. Let's get into 61 through 80. Again, got the whole list up there, so you guys can kind of read it for yourself, but we'll do some of the quick hitters. Laporta, obviously, on there for the Lions. Very good rookie season. Minka Fitzpatrick coming in there. He's been a consistent guy on this list. Kyron Williams had a big year in his rookie year. Makes it. Some other big ones, Herbert for the quarterbacks on there at 75. We got Garrett Wilson coming off a good year, even with bad quarterback play, in at 72. Laramie Tunsil up there for the Texans. We've got a little bit of a run of wide receivers here. Amari Cooper Kupp, Brandon Ayuk. I put the little asterisk there because 49ers as of now, but who knows how long he'll be there for. And then Jalen Waddle also in there at 63. Weezy, I'll just kind of do the same thing for each slide here right away. Anything jump off, who's high, who's low.
A lot do. I'll name a few. Too high, Kyron, I think. Awesome year one, but to put him already at 78, I think is a little bit too much. Hendrickson, I do think he's above 77. I get he's, not the biggest name in terms of defensive lineman. And then also I think Patrick Queen is way too low.
Yeah, I think Queen is a big one too, because again, I think an important thing to remember here, it's next year. And, Patrick Queen comes from the Ravens where he was, maybe overshadowed a little bit because Roquan Smith obviously got traded there. He was the guy, best linebacker duo though in the league for probably a year. But now he goes to Pittsburgh, who already has a good supporting cast around him, stuff like that. So he's gonna get to run free. He's gonna be the top guy in that defense. I'm sure he'll be the green dot, stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with that one. Probably too low. Other than that though, I think most of the guys here are pretty good. I think Herbert maybe could be a little higher. I've always been a little bit high on Herbert, but I think he's uber talented. And, you know, I'll even just take the kind of reverse bias here, if you want to call it that. We got like Jordan Love that's going to be coming up on this list that's like 20 or 30 spots higher than Justin Herbert. As good as I think Love wasn't good year one, and I think he's going to be really good next year, I don't think he's, you know, significantly better than Justin Herbert. I hope he, you know, continues to look as good, if not better than Justin Herbert, but I don't think he's that much better. So I think Herbert's probably a little low, in my opinion, for quarterbacks.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Moving forward here, let's get into numbers 41 through 60. Get into some of the top guys in the NFL here. Got some Dolphins here with Raheem Mostert, Stephon Diggs in there with the Texans now at 56. One that jumps off of me right away before let's get through it first, I guess. Brian Burns in there, coming over from the Panthers to the Giants. I think he was the only Giant to make the list, or maybe not. No, Dexter Lawrence is on this, but he's the only quote unquote Panther, because technically they said the Patriots were the only team to not have a player. They said Brian Burns makes it, but I mean, he's on the Giants now, so I don't really know how we count that as the Panthers. Whatever. Derrick Henry, who seems to be like an old man now to everybody, in there at 49 with the Ravens. Another Packer there, Sean Gary at 50. Aiden Hutchinson's up there at 47. Antoine Winfield, Lane Johnson, who again seems like he's 100, is still up there near the top 40. Stafford on here, and then Jamar Chase there at 45, another big name that kind of jumps off. Weezy, what do we think about this slide?
I'll let you go first this time.
All right, sure. So first of all, Stafford, I think, although we just talked about how I think he's Hall of Fame worthy, I'm not sure if he deserves to be this high anymore. Again, we're looking towards next season. Rams were kind of struggling last year. I know he's had some injury issues, but he's a little bit different, I feel like, because he's had so many injury issues as of late. I think you have to take that into account a little bit. Who knows how healthy he'll be. And again, he's a guy that's getting up there in age. Excuse me, we don't know, what's going to happen. Goff, I think, similar to like the Herbert argument. There's guys who are ahead of him in the quarterback position that, again, I like, but I feel like there's almost too much discrepancy in some of these jumps. And when you just look at it position by position, Jamar Chase, kind of same thing. I think that most people would agree he's probably a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Some maybe argue for him to be top 3. 45 seems too low. Derrick Henry, same thing as Stafford. He's getting old. I don't know. Obviously, the Ravens are run-heavy offense, but I don't know how he's going to hold up. He just has looked slower the last couple of years. Kind of seems like Zeke was that last year, before he fell off. Last year, it just looked like he kind of lost a step a little bit. Yeah, those are the ones kind of jump out of me. Oh, and then the one I was going to get to right away, Bobby Wagner. I don't know why the hell he's even still in the top 100.
Yeah, he's 40.
Yeah, I don't know why he's still in the top 100.
That one was
eye-soaring. Top 60.
And then also, you said it too, like the big one to me is like Jamar Chase gets punished way too much for like inconsistent quarterback. And
yeah,
not necessarily play, but like yes, Burrow was hurt all year. You got Browning. It's like we see how good he is with a healthy offense. So I think 45 is too low, and you agree with that. It's why are we punishing him?
One more that I forgot about too is Pat Surtain, who I think, again, by most people's account, is probably a top at least 8, 5, maybe even 3, depending on who you ask, corner in the NFL. He's at 52. I know corners, and we'll talk about it in the I just lost the word, the snubs, a little bit too, but corners got disrespected, I think, kind of in general with the whole top 100, as we'll kind of keep seeing going forward. But yeah, Pat Surtain, very, very high level corner, and he finds himself outside the top 50. I don't think that's right either.
Yeah, I agree with that.
21 through 40. Again, we hit the guys who kind of jump out at you right away. Devontae Adams, Joe Burrow, Sauce Gardner, again, some D-back disrespect, I feel like. I think he's arguably the best cornerback in the league right now. Not on there. You got Quinnen Williams, Tua. That's where Jordan Love makes his appearance at 34. We got Puka all the way up at 33 now already. We got the 49ers guys with Bosa, Purdy, Dexter Lawrence there with the Giants, Khalil Mack still on there. Again, the guy who's getting older with the Chargers, A.J. Brown at the wide receiver position, Jalen Ramsey at corner, 25. Again, the corners, I'm going to keep going back to that. Jalen Ramsey, I don't think he's the best corner in the league anymore. So I'm not really sure why he finds himself this high.
I think Pat's better.
I think Sauce is better. So again, too much of this I feel like is, just guys that are trying to respect the guys who have been in the league for a long time and been high-level players for a long time. So that's why we find these older guys who probably aren't going to be that good next year still in this position. Obviously, these guys are still high-level players. They deserve to be on the list, but just not ahead of some of the guys that are behind them.
100%. some names pop. Brock Purdy, like
I don't know. I'll never. I've almost kind of given up on the whole Purdy conversation, as I think a lot of people have, because it's just like they just keep shoving it down our throats. Like they just won't stop.
you're gonna
In
tell
what
me
world is
Purdy's
he better than is he better than Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, Justin Herbert? He's not better than any of those guys.
He's 50 players better than Justin Herbert. That's ridiculous. And then some other names, I guess. Penei Sewell. I mean, obviously it's a homer pick, but I think he's much higher than 22. I think he has surpassed. I think he is the top offensive lineman in the league. I'm a Lions fan, so probably biased, but it's my belief.
I think he's up there for sure. Again, it's tough here as we get down to it, because now we are getting to the point where it's just a lot of elite players. But yeah, Sewell, very, very good. Don't hate the homer pick there. I wouldn't call it a homer pick, I guess, but yeah, for anybody who thinks it is, I don't think it is. But yeah, you could probably argue it could be even higher. Let's get to the top 20 here. So it's got CJ Stroud here at 20, Roquan at 19. We'll go through this whole list. Justin Jefferson at 18, Parsons 17, Prescott 16, Hurts 15, Kittle at 14, Lamb at 13, Josh Allen 12, Fred Warner 11, Max Crosby at 10, Kelsey at 9, TJ Watt at 8, Trent Williams at 7, Chris Jones at 6, Myles Garrett at 5, Patrick Mahomes at 4, and then the top 3, McCaffrey coming in there at 3rd, Lamar Jackson at 2, and Tyreek Hill at number 1. I've had the first stab the last couple slides. Weezy, let you take this one.
I say we hit it in unison.
Okay.
Let's just talk about Mahomes not being 1 here. Let's just put it together. It's
ridiculous. Right off the bat, this is what I was kind of, foreshadowing to earlier when I talked about the pettiness. Every single person on earth knows that Patrick Mahomes is the best player in football right now.
It's like not a question.
And he is probably, I mean, if we're talking strictly talent-wise, Patrick Mahomes is probably the best player to ever step on an NFL field. So why the hell is he finding himself at 4 on this list? That is by far the biggest discrepancy here.
And I get if you don't want to bring in quarterbacks, you want to, give shine to the receiver core like Tyreek Hill. Why is there another quarterback ahead of Patrick Mahomes?
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
100%. The top 20 just in general, I have a lot of just things that very much anger me with it. Most of the other, slides we talked about guys who maybe could have been higher, lower. The top 20 though is where we start, finding the best of the best. And a lot of these just piss me off. Dak Prescott, why the hell is he at 16? Why is he again ahead of guys like Herbert? He's 60 spots higher than Justin Herbert. What? He's not that much. He's not even better. Not better at all than Justin Herbert. Dak Prescott, in my opinion, he shouldn't be that high. Stroud, hell of a rookie season, but same time, it's yes, going forward for the future, I would love CJ Stroud on my team. But still, we got to do it comparatively by positions. I don't know if there's that much of a gap between CJ Stroud and Jordan Love. I think a lot of people think that think those two pretty similar because they're kind of hand in hand. They both had their first year starting. They're both very similar levels of production. I don't care if you think it's a homer pick. Jordan Love was better than CJ Stroud was last year. Not by much, but I think he was just barely, especially if you look at the second half of the season, how he performed in the playoffs. I think he was maybe just barely better. If you want to say CJ Stroud was whatever, a tish better, sure, tish better, but he shouldn't be 15 spots ahead of him.
But do you think part of that is because CJ came in straight out of Ohio State, obviously, and Jordan's been there for a while?
Yeah, no, I think it is. And I will acknowledge that. Yes, Jordan Love has been in the league for a few years, but still, we're looking at the fact of it's not a projection of the next 5-10 years. And even then, I think it's very close. This is the top players for next year. So based on each of these guys' 1 year last year, I don't really see, how you can make that big of a jump. And again, I'm not trying to harp on that one too much. The one that pisses me off a lot more is Prescott at 16 and then even Hurts at 15. I think Stroud's better. I think Love's better. I think Burrow's better. I think Herbert's better. I'm not very high on Jalen Hurts. I made that very clear when we did the top 10 guys way back in our first or second episode of the show. Our top guys going forward for the next 5-10 years, whatever. I'm just not that high on Jalen Hurts. I don't think that he should be this high. I don't think that he's what is this? They have him at 4th best quarterback in the league. I don't know what you think, but I don't think that.
No, he's way too high. He's way too high. But also, I want to bring up something. Am I a bad guy for saying Travis Kelce's also way too high?
No, I don't think so. Same thing that we kind of talked about with some other guys. He's older. His production was significantly lower last year than it has been in pretty much his entire career. So I don't think it's a bad thing to say. I think he is still the best tight end in the league, or definitely has a very strong argument to be in the best tight end in the league. But yeah, probably overall landscape of the NFL, I think tight ends maybe just taking a little bit of a step back.
And then I
I
also
don't think
think
any of them should be that high.
I think there's one more here too that like we need to talk about because I think it's ridiculous. Justin Jefferson, when he played, put up like gaudy numbers with Nick Mullins throwing to him.
Yeah.
Why is he 18th and why is he like behind CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we projecting because he's not going to have a quarterback again this year?
His quarterback's going to be better than Nick Mullins and Josh Dobbs, right? Like,
I don't get it. I don't get it one bit.
No, some of the guys I do like here, Roquan, I think is going to get a good spot. I think he is, second best linebacker in the league. Him and Fred Warner, I think, are the top two guys right now. Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, all very high level edges. I like that they're all, fairly close in this. Yeah, I don't know. The rest of it, not too much complaints. But the one, again, I won't ever get over the quarterbacks in the entire top 100. I think were awful.
I mean,
if you put them up on just a pure position ranking, I think it was terrible. I think they did an awful job.
We'll just go same teams. In what world is Micah Parsons a worse football player than Dak Prescott?
No one. You could take a vote on the entire Dallas Cowboys team, say it's completely anonymous, and they'll never find out. I bet you not a single person votes for Dak Prescott other than Dak Prescott. Right?
You're right. Yes.
Yeah. No, that one is the one. Again, I've said it 100 times. I should probably shut the hell up, but I'll never get over Dak Prescott being here at 16. I think that he is probably should have been on the top 100, but he should be way back at like 92 where Aaron Rodgers was. He should be way behind some of these guys. And I don't know.
If he was in the 50s, I'd say probably too high.
Yes, exactly. 100% agree. And again, I'm gonna beat it till it's dead, but it's just the positional value that you look at and like how much they gap some of these guys. The Herbert at 75 will never get over. Trevor Lawrence was back on that very first slide too at like 93 or something like that. He's better than Dak Prescott too, I think, in my opinion.
That's okay. Now you're starting to get to the. Now we're just throwing names out.
No, I don't know. Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I've always been high on him. I'll say that.
But I have too. But
like, I think you've dropped Trevor Lawrence on the Cowboys roster. I think they're a better team than
but
Dak Prescott.
All we're doing with Trevor Lawrence still to this day is projecting.
I don't know. I mean, the straight up statistical value hasn't been awesome, maybe, but I think that he has still played at a high level. Yeah, the turnovers have been a little bit of an issue, but Dak has had terrible turnover issues too. He throws to the other team all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you could pretty much name like a bunch of quarterbacks and say, would they be a better quarterback with the Dallas Cowboys? And 99% of them, we would say yes.
Well, and I also look at it as like just straight up switch them though. Like I think, again, those two are a lot closer than a lot of the other guys I mentioned, but I think that if you put Trevor Lawrence on the Cowboys and you put Dak Prescott on the Jaguars, I think the Cowboys are slightly better, and I think the Jaguars are slightly worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's how, at the end of the day, we have to look at stuff like this. And again, the just position by position. It's hard because you have so many positions in the NFL that you have to pack in there. The wide receivers got a lot of love this year. The D-backs kind of got slighted, and certain, like I just said, we harped on forever there. Quarterbacks got slighted. But yeah, I don't know. That's just what I guess the hill I'll die on forever. Is that we have to think of it how it looks if you just stack them up position by position and put those numbers next to them, not just on a full scale. So, all right, ranted enough there with the top 100 list. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'll get to a couple here that we had coming in as we went. Nick said, "Can't believe Witherspoon wasn't top 100." I don't know if he's quite top 100 yet, but he's a good player.
I mean, they've disrespected the entire position, so I'm not totally shocked that they left him off. Again, he's young though. I'm not like pissed off at that though.
No, yeah. So actually, let's talk snubs really quick. Okay. Let's talk about who should have been, higher or made this list at all. I guess is probably the better word.
I mean, let's just start with DJ Moore.
Yeah. So DJ Moore, we talked about that one a little bit already on Monday when we talked about his contract extension. Again, very high level receiver. Don't know how he gets left off compared to some other guys. I wholeheartedly agree with that one. He had like 1,300 yards last year. I think the lowest rated receiver going back was Terry McLaurin.
Yes.
Terry McLaurin. He had 1,000 yards last season. Like he had like 1,002. I get it, not great quarterback play, but DJ Moore didn't have great quarterback play either, and he put up 1,300. So, and again, that's coming from a Packers fan and a Lions fan, a division rival. DJ Moore should have made the list, I think. And yeah, Weezy, as you just said, you agree as well. Looking at other snubs here as we go forward, or just kind of comments in general here too. Cass's job better than Ramsey. It was a tightly contested battle there for years between who was the best corner in the league. I think both of them, admittedly, I'll talk on Jair too. I think they both admittedly taken a little bit of a step back. These young guys have surpassed them a little bit. I think they're both still high-level corners. I think they should both be on the top 100 list. But yeah, both those guys probably find themselves back towards I think they should probably find themselves between like 50 and like 70 now. Whereas, yeah, 100%. In the past, they were perennial top 25 guys. Now, I don't think it is as much, but
I would say Jalen like by a hair still. But again, I think that's close. And like you both said, yeah, they're old. Like not too old, but 50s to 70s is probably where they belong.
Yeah. Look at other snubs here. Again, another position that got no love. Tight ends, TJ Hawkinson and Mark Andrews both left off the list. I think that's pretty egregious in my opinion.
Well, what was the jump? It was like Kelsey, Kittle. They were both top 20, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and then other than that,
then next it was Laporta at 80.
That was it, right?
Yeah. So
we had 3 tight ends.
Also, like again, Hawkinson, a lot of people say is better than Laporta. I don't think so, but obviously Lions fan. You're telling me like the jumps from like 15 to 80?
Yeah, no,
like, I'd argue it's a toss up. Like I think Laporta might be like the best tight end in the league going into next year.
Yeah, it's very, very much a real argument. And again, Hawkinson too, young guy who's, I mean, obviously been in the league for a few years now, but he's proved it. I mean, and he was ridiculous when he was healthy last year. I don't really understand how he gets left off the list completely. Like you just kind of mentioned, I don't hate that. I mean, Kelsey and Kittle are probably both like slightly too high. I think you just shift those two back, maybe, I don't know, 5-10 spots each. Probably move Laporta up 15-20 spots. And then I think you throw Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson in there somewhere in those last, 20-30 spots on the list, I think, too.
Yeah, but we have Bobby Wagner at 59.
Yeah, but we have Bobby Wagner at 59. Great point. Other snubs, another position that got straight up snubbed completely off the list, never had anybody on it at all. The centers. Centers got nobody. Jason Kelsey kind of held it down there for a long time with the centers, making it every year. And again, I think this goes back to kind of name recognition. Kelsey, the last couple of years especially, got very big. But, I mean, obviously, yeah, all-pro, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. But he had just the name power and the celebrityness to kind of just knock some of the stars off the list and the guys with the big-time name recognition. I think the current centers just don't really have that. But Frank Ragnow, Creed Humphrey both, I think, have a very strong argument to be in the top 100. I mean, you saw Ragnow every week, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but stupid question too. And you're going to say no, but I think it's fun. Like, if you're like, let's say, contending to win a Super Bowl and like you could sign 2 players, like would you sign Bobby Wagner, who's 48, or would you sign like Justin Tucker?
Justin Tucker.
Like, is it crazy to say he put him at 99 or 100?
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to get to too. Yeah, Justin Tucker or Harrison Butker. I think both those guys add a lot of value as kickers.
Like a kicker that you have infinite confidence in it within 60 yards is such an asset to a team.
Yeah, people think that's a complete joke, and maybe they think that we're whatever screwing around right now, but no, it's not. I think kickers are very real. They contribute to winning. I mean, your kicker, every team's leading point scorer in franchise history is almost always a kicker. Yeah, it's a lot of times they play a lot, but still, extra points can win or lose games. Field goals win or lose games. Kickers are important.
Obviously, you had Crosby forever, so it's like not too much. But like, it is truly terrifying being like a good team, but with like a dicey kicker.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because nothing's ever safe.
Well, I felt that for the first time last year.
Yeah.
I mean, the Packers were competing down the stretch. They were in close games. They had to win games. It was terrifying every time that Anders Carlson walked out there to try and go hit a field goal from 45 plus.
People shot on Dan Campbell for going on like 4th and 8 every single time. It's like, we don't have a kicker. Like our kicker is like 1 for 5 with like from 50 yards plus. Like, that's bad. Like you don't have a kicker. So you have to go on 4th and 4 in a late 4th quarter situation.
It's just drive killers. I mean, you got to get points in tightly contested games. Playoffs, kickers matter.
Justice for kickers.
Justice for kickers. All right. So corners, in general, like we said, got snubbed. I got a little bit of a list of guys who I think should have been on the list, or at least hopefully got strong consideration. I guess maybe they did. L'Jarius Sneed from the Chiefs. He was their top corner for the past couple of years here. Last year had a really, really good year. In a year the Chiefs defense was much better, I think, than people thought they would be. So I think that he got snubbed, especially now. He goes to the Titans. Again, true number one guy. He's going to be matched up against top wide receivers every single game. So maybe he'll get the respect he deserves next year. Now that he's kind of, again, their clear top guy. I say clear top guy because they also have Trent McDuffie, who I think could maybe garnered a little bit of consideration. Kind of the vice versa from Snead, Snead leaves, and then McDuffie moves into that number one slot. Again, he's going to have that number one guy every single week. He's not going to have a really good number two like he was for Snead last year. I think he might be a guy that's going to turn some heads. Denzel Ward from the Browns, I think very, very good corner on a good defense. I think he garnered some consideration. And then finally, probably the worst D-back snub of all. He got disrespected in Madden too. And again, tough to say as a Packers fan, but Jalen Johnson got just turned around and fucked. He was not a top 10 corner on Madden, which is ridiculous. He's a top 10 corner in the league and didn't make the top 100 players. I don't get it.
You could argue he's a top 5 corner in the league.
Yeah. I don't know. Where the hell is he? Why is he not on the list?
They bent him over, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So D-backs just in general, really, really bad. All right. Last few here. We'll get through these. We'll go to a quick break, and then we'll come back for some Olympic basketball rock hard takes. Other guys I have on the list, Nico Collins, I think is going to have a chance to really take a jump. I know it's a little bit of a projecting, but I think he had a good year last year with the Texans. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is there now, so maybe they think he kind of takes the back seat. But I think that he's still going to, really be an important part of that offense. And I think he's, a very, very high-end 2 now. Now that he moves that 2 spot, I think he's going to be, one of the best 2s in the league. Again, from the Texans, Will Anderson Jr. We gave C.J. Stroud the respect to move him all the way up to 20 after a great rookie year. People forget Will Anderson was absolutely ridiculous as a rookie for the defensive side of the ball for the Texans. Why didn't he get any consideration on the edge? Who else did I have here? Breece Hall. Breece Hall had a hell of a season at running back. He was, fantasy monster and was a monster on the field as well. Had a really good year. I think he deserves some recognition as well. Running backs really didn't get a whole lot of love on the list either. Which is kind of weird. I just thinking now, just in the totality of things, that we had so many just kind of important positions just not get love. But that's kind of who I had for
Gibbs was not on that list, was he?
No, not.
And Bijan wasn't either.
Nope.
But Kyron Williams was 78th.
Yeah. So it's so weird.
Like, what the hell is that
standard here, right?
I mean, what is that?
Because I feel like they're probably some of those guys because they had 1 year, but Kyron Williams had 1 year too. So why are we giving him? I don't think because those guys are both better than he was.
Gun to your head, who are the 2 best young running backs in the league?
I'm going to go 3, but the guys I just mentioned, Breece, because I'm going to throw Breece in there too. Breece, Bijan, and Jameer. Yeah, they're the 3 best young running backs in the league.
Okay, I mean,
if you're going just rookies though, then Bijan.
Yeah, it's not like a hard concept. Like everybody in America would tell you those 2. Like that's the whole debate: is Bijan versus Jameer, who was the better back? Who would you want more? But we're gonna throw Kyron Williams in there. I'm shocked Blake Corum didn't make the top 100.
Yeah, that would have been just a great all time troll too if they would just thrown some random rookie in there. That would have been awesome.
JJ McCarthy at 64.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. All right. That is, I think, going to do it for the top 100 players. That being said, we're going to go to our quick little 1-minute commercial break here. When we come back, though, we're going to get into some Olympic basketball talk. And then, of course, we'll finish things up with Rock Hard Takes. Again, today's Rock Hard Takes topic will be things that Weezy and I think we could go pro in. So make sure you stick around for that. Should be a good segment for Rock Hard Takes today. But let's get to a commercial. And once again, you'll listen to Rock Hard Ball, part of the Dogs Media Network here at College Football Dogs. And we will be right back.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12-plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
For the fans.
For the fans. That's right. College Football Dogs is for the fans, just as Weezy and I are for the fans, for the boys. Yeah, thanks, guys, all for tuning in. Once again, listen to Rock Hard Ball for the Dogs Media Network at College Football Dogs. Make sure you go check out the website, collegefootballdogs.com. Lots of great articles going up there every single day from all of our staff here. We had over 100 guys who are covering every single team in college football, every single team in the NFL. So make sure you check that out. Lots of good stuff there as well. Once again, another reminder, go check out the socials for Rock Hard Ball. We're either at Rock Hard Ball or at Rock Hard Ball Pod on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. So make sure you go check that out. A lot of big things coming, I think, for the show here coming up. Weezy's going to be back in town in Lincoln soon.
Yeah, I think last episode like this.
Yes, last episode like this of us at our homes. So we'll get back in the studio. Planning to make a lot of upgrades with production value. Clyde will be back soon, or Connor, Cletus, whatever the hell you guys want to call him. He will be back on Monday as well. So we'll get Kelly's Kinky Rankings back in here too. But yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. Good to have you guys in here. All-time record viewership for Rock Hard Ball tonight. So hats off to the fans. Appreciate you guys stopping in. But yeah, let's get into Olympic basketball. That's going to be our next topic on the agenda tonight. We have a couple things to discuss here, mostly USA, but we'll talk a little bit about the others as well. First things first, let's talk about Canada. So Canada, I think most people thought were the biggest threat to Team USA coming into the Olympics in the 2024 Summer Olympics there in Paris. They were undefeated going into or out of group play, left group play without losing, and now they move into the tournament section and they drop on the quarterfinals right away, and they get bounced from the tournament. Jamal Murray was pretty disappointing most of the tournament. Shea looks good, but yeah, all time just blunder by them to kind of talk all that shit, say they're coming for gold, and then just straight up miss out on a medal at all.
Some are saying Jamal Murray's Mario Chalmers without Jokic.
Yeah, it's true.
He was pitiful in that game.
Very bad.
Which is shocking. It's
just weird, yeah, because, I mean, they had the most NBA talent outside of the USA by far. It wasn't even close. I think nobody else could even field the starting five of NBA players. Canada went like 8 deep.
You could argue that their backcourt was the best.
Yeah, I think.
Again, you would probably give the notch to US.
Yeah,
but like
close, though.
Shea Jamal, yes.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the MVP runner-up last year. And yeah, Jamal Murray is seen by most people as probably the second best two in the league, right? I mean, best two, probably.
I don't know about
he's
that.
Up there. I think he's right there for sure. Yes. Bryce saw Jamal Murray at the Pink Pony Club in Denver last week as he was just walking by. Maybe that's why Jamal Murray couldn't show up. Never know. But yeah. All right. So Canada fails to medal. Just bad luck in general for them. France moves on to the gold medal game. They defeated Germany in the semifinals by a final score of, where did they go? 73-69. Nice. Shout out. But yeah, France with Victor and Rudy and the boys. I think, is Fournier still on the team? I think he is.
Yes, he is. Also, that was a weird game, though. I don't know if you watched or saw.
I didn't watch that one.
Every named player in that game was actually pretty awful. It was more of the sporting cast, like non-NBA guys that drove each team. Wagner brothers weren't great. Wembanyama was great defensively. He had, I want to say 3 or 4 blocks, but from the field, I want to say he was 4 of 18.
That's just so perfect Olympics though. 2 European teams playing and the NBA guys just don't show up.
It's like an Olympic tradition too, where it's is Patty Mills a top guard in the league?
Yeah, every single time. So yeah, France is going to move to the gold medal game where they will face the United States of America, who narrowly escaped Serbia and Nikola Jokic, who really didn't even play very good. They're 2 named NBA guys. Jokic, who I just mentioned, Bogdanovic, both didn't really play well. I think they were still the top scorers on the team, but I think they went a combined 12 for 30, 35 from the field. Not a great showing from them, but that game was still damn close all the way. U.S. was down by probably 10 to 15 for most of the game. And our great and glorious King LeBron and our all-time chef, Mr. Curry, really just put the team on their back, and they willed into a win. Curry scored over 30 points. LeBron had a triple-double. I think it was the 4th ever in Olympic history. Also, LeBron had another one back.
Yeah, he's 2 of the 4.
2 of the 4. Our great and glorious King LeBron Bon. He is our sunshine. But yeah, Joel Embiid played good. Tatum and Halliburton once again get DNPs. Kerr played questionable lineups for the game. But Weez, you had a better read on most of this game than I did. I had to go to work in like the fourth quarter, so missed a good important chunk of the game. I'll let you kind of take the lead here now and talk about the game. What'd you think?
Yeah, no, I was at work too, but I was able to catch some of it. Steve Kerr, just like, I get what he's trying to do, bringing KD and like Ant off the bench. And Ant wasn't great today at all, but like, dude, it's like USA basketball.
Yeah.
Like, all 10 players, if you're going to play 10, like, that's fine. Play 10. All 10 are unbelievable NBA talents. Like, we don't need that, like, coveted guy coming off the bench to, like, score. Like, and that's what the last 5 minutes was unbelievable basketball, because it was KD, LeBron, and Steph. And obviously, Joel Embiid played great. I'm not going to leave him out of there, but, like, KD should be starting. Like, those three should be on the court together, because I don't care if it's a defensive liability. Like, I dare another team to outscore that group.
Well, you in that lineup, you have the best player of all time by a lot of people's accounts, second by pretty much everybody else's if you don't believe he's the best. Steph Curry, who I think most people think is probably the best point guard of all time now, and probably a borderline top 10 player of all time. And Kevin Durant, who is one of
he's a top
the
3
best scorers of all time, probably a top 20 player of all time. You have all that talent. Yeah, they're getting a little older now, but I mean, experience matters in the Olympics too. It's a different game when you get to the Olympics. It's FIBA rules. It's a little bit different. Those guys have been there. They've played it before. So yeah, it's important to have those guys in crunch time.
It's FIBA rules, but at the same time, play your 5 best players and say, fuck you, stop me.
Well, that's like my entire point is like, yeah, those guys are very, very good players, but they also like just understand the Olympic game. It's, you know,
like I truly get Drew Holiday's like spot in the starting lineup, and he won't, for the gold medal game, he will be starting because again, he's a great on-ball defender for a guard. But like, this is a situation going up against France. It's like, do we really need like a great on-ball defending guard? Like Fournier's their best guard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with Devin Booker guarding him. Get him out of there, put KD in, and it's going to be unstoppable. Because obviously, looking ahead into the gold medal game, it's going to be battle of the bigs. Because obviously, they have Wemby and Rudy Gobert's 8-foot asses to deal with.
No, this would be a completely different conversation. And again, we weren't really ready for it if we're playing Canada, because that completely changes everything. USA has to go with a much smaller lineup because Canada is built on guards. And so, yeah, then we're talking a lot more about guys who can go out there, play defense, and get the ball in good spots, and then probably a lot more post feeds. Complete opposite game plan now, though. You go from whatever inside out to outside in. You're going to want to shoot the ball against France. You're going to have to play fast, and there's just not going to be a whole lot of opportunities to go in the lane against France.
No, exactly why KD should be out too. If KD's in starting lineup, that's perfect. Because obviously, sure, Wemby's going to get his, but like whatever you can do to draw Wemby out should be the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling Steve Kerr is not going to give a shit though and just play the same 5.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the gold medal game goes. Again, USA feels like they've been just destined to win gold forever. Obviously, it hasn't always been that way, and there's been a lot closer calls in the past. But they're going out there, they're trying to redeem the world championship loss that we had a couple years ago when we sent NBA players, but it wasn't, they're high level players, but it wasn't the best of the best, wasn't whatever the Avengers that they're saying this year. So let's just wait and see. I think they should beat France again. I think it's big the way that they kind of ended up playing it out. They avoided basically all the teams, like you said last episode, with high level NBA talent. And again, just not playing Canada, I think is a huge relief for the USA, because although France is no slouch, it's just a lot different ball game, I think, than playing Canada. So, all right, that's going to do it for Olympic basketball. Next thing that we're going to do and wrap things up with is going to be today's edition of Rock Hard Takes. So, as always, let's get the intro going.
Bone up, folks. It's time for Rock Hard Takes.
All right, today's Rock Hard Takes topic is going to be things that we could go pro in. For those who haven't been around in the past for past episodes, Rock Hard Takes is kind of our little spin on, pardon my takes, version of Mount Rushmore. I'll just be straight up. We kind of maybe slightly rip them off with it a little bit. But so yeah, today we're going to do things we could go pro in. Important caveat for this that we discussed is this isn't necessarily just us going pro in sports. This is just any activity that you probably do in your life that you like just kind of turn around and be like, you know what, I could go pro in this. So
I don't
that's
have
kind of the game
I
plan.
do not have a single sport on here.
No, I don't either. So
Okay,
good to hear. Yeah. So this is very, very unserious. So that being said, I think you had first last time.
I believe I did. Yeah, I think it's you.
So I got first pick this time. First thing I'm going to go with here is I'm going to go with, I think I could go pro in drinking like 15 beers on like a Saturday afternoon and still making it to the bars that night and like being a functioning human being. I think I'm very good at that. Got a lot of experience in it. I've worked hard at the craft. I think I've got the build for it. So the first pick, yeah, I think I could very well go pro if that was like some type of event. So yeah.
It's a great pick. Kind of ripped me off like we did call earlier. You asked like what you
yours
meant.
was a little different though. So I did think about it, and I still think that this is even better because again, I think you said something about like
I just said drinking 12 beers on a Saturday. That's like a given.
Yeah. So again, that's all. I felt that was almost too general. So I wanted to kind of narrow it in a little bit, make it a little bit more niche. And again, like I said, I've done it before. I think I'm skilled at it. So yeah, I think that is a skill. It's one thing to drink, 15 beers on a Saturday afternoon in the backyard, and then just come inside and go to bed. It's another thing to rally yourself mentally and get yourself out there for the bar crawl at night. So yeah, 15 beers on a Saturday and out to the bars after.
No, it's a good pick. My one is telling myself every Sunday morning that I'm done drinking forever. I think I'm on a 5-weekend streak of that. And
it's not a bad streak to be on.
No, and then Thursdays come around. You're like, I could really use a drink.
Mm-hmm. Thursday. Shout out to everybody out there enjoying a cold one.
And then
you got 2 in a row here, yeah.
And then my second one is shitting on company time.
Okay, great pick there.
Very good at taking poops at work.
Very good, very good. Like that pick a lot. It's a good one. All right, next one I'm going to go with. If you don't know me personally, you might not understand this one as much, and you might just kind of make me seem like a scumbag. But I think I do it in a lighthearted way. I'm going to go with like gaslighting / lying, just like constantly to people. I'm really good at just getting people to just kind of believe just random shit. It's always harmless. It's always in good fun, always in a sarcastic way. But I mean, I'll go on with a bit for whatever hours if I have to, if it just means I can get somebody to believe it. Because I just find joy in that. Shout out Jackson Mays, number one victim of this for me. So Mays, we appreciate you for playing in Carter's game of whatever life. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I think I'm very good at it. I think I go pro in it.
Pretty sure that's just called being a psychopath.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. People are gonna think that I'm just some dick, but no, I think it's all in good fun. But yeah, all right. Next pick I'm gonna go with for me. I'm gonna go with just making random sound effects. Once again, if you've known me or been around me in person, I just do a lot of weird shit in terms of just making random noises. I'm not a big fan of silence. Really like to make sure people are hearing that I'm there, hearing that I'm around. So I'll just make random noises. I think I can do a lot of different ones. Shout out to my brothers, Cass and Kobe. They kind of prepared me for that. They're also very skilled at that. So if there was like a trio like competition thing, like kind of like the 3v3 tournament in the Olympics, I think we could probably take the gold for America. So yeah, I'll go with that for my next pick.
So weird picks, but good picks, I guess. Next up, I'll go eating an entire Jack's pizza. In fact, I don't think I've ever not eaten the entire thing.
That's a good one. I think I'm also pretty good at that. I think a lot of college guys are probably right there in it. Jack's Pizza goes really hard after just especially like long day of work, night out at the bars, haven't eaten all day, come home, just eating an entire Jack's Pizza. Great feeling. Yeah. All right, you got another pick, I think, right?
Yeah, I got one more, I think. Right? Or do I have 2 more?
You'll have one more at the end. You
Okay.
have one now, one at the end.
I'm gonna say saying the most worst possible things you possibly can about like opposing players on the other team. I say things that like if it was caught on video, I would get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I'll personally vouch on this one. You are skilled at that. I've probably seen. I mean this like completely honestly. I think I've only seen like maybe one other guy who's like up there with you for that kind of thing. Shout out Bobby from freshman year. He said some pretty disgusting things about White Sox players. He's a White Sox fan, but they let them down. They let him down very often. So he said some pretty foul things about White Sox players and maybe their families. I will vouch. Very, very, very good pick from you there. You're pretty hard on that kind of thing. All right, next thing I'm gonna go with. All right, yeah, not quite that far, Cass.
It's certainly not that far.
Not that far. Like close to that, but not that far. We're not gonna.
It's more psychotic shit than like that.
It's not just your classic like drunk dumbass just throwing out like as many cuss words as you can. Like you're creative about it. I'll give you the props there. That I will. All right, next one I'm gonna go with. Kobe said this earlier. These guys must be in college. I'm gonna kind of go with that theme again. I think I could go pro and just it's gonna kind of sound kind of weird, but like just taking Vegas bombs. I've said before, and I'll go on record saying it again. I think that I could just take like a straight up like a mug, and if you like fill it like the same proportions of like a Vegas bomb, I could just drink it like as a drink. Like I really enjoy them. By far my favorite way to get drunk. So yes, taking Vegas bombs. I think I could go pro in that if that's a thing. But yeah, 2 drinking ones. I know it's a little bit double up-ish, but I'm still gonna rip it. And then for my last pick, big one. I think that I would be a world champion in this. Anybody who's ever heard me sleep would agree. Snoring. I think I'm one of the loudest snorers in the entire world. It's just very, very loud. People just can't sleep if they're in the same room as me. Once again, ask my brothers. Anytime in a hotel room growing up, they would sometimes just straight up suffocate me with a pillow until I woke up so they could go to bed before I started snoring again. So, yeah, I think I'm very, very skilled at that. So that's going to be my last pick. And I think it's a good pick to end on.
Yeah, I've been a victim of that one too many times. I don't know what I want to go to next.
Shout out Michigan trip.
Yeah,
Connor also was not a fan.
I'm just thinking of Kansas City too. That was miserable. Last one, I'm just going to say being gay with the guys.
All right. Word up. Getting a little zesty.
No, you'll throw some comments out there that you don't mean, but it's all in fun with the boys. Yeah,
for sure. Again, I think just about any group of guy friends could probably say that they think that they got a pretty good chance of going pro in that. All right, let's get to some of the comments here that we had rolling in. Let us know who you thought won with the draft. All right, let's see. Cass said Jorkin it. That's something he thinks he could go pro in. Once again, a lot of very dude themed comments here are in picks by us as well. But yeah, true. Jorkin it, good thing to maybe try and go pro in. We got Vandy Kristen here. He gave us a full top 5. So number 1, he's got professional Mountain Dew drinking, 2 professional Vanderbilt fan, 3 professional Tennessee Vol hater. Seems like those two go hand in hand pretty well. Professional third party voter and professional procrastinator. So very real world things there. I think I'm a pretty good procrastinator too.
I think everybody's a good procrastinator.
Yeah, I think some people are just nerds, though. Some people are just nerds.
No, if you don't procrastinate, you're just like a weirdo. I don't trust you.
Yeah, no, you're there's something off there. Let's see. Cass's Brie agrees with the sound effects. Good to know. Let's see. Kobe says he could easily beat you in a whole pizza eating contest. What's the response to that?
Does he think it's like a time thing? I'm not saying I eat the Jack's pizza fast. I'm just saying I'm not gonna have leftovers.
Okay, fair. But yeah, I'm not. If he is talking time, I'm gonna side with Kobe.
Yeah, I'm sure he could fucking horse that shit down. Just next comment on it.
All right, yeah,
I'm not gonna keep arguing.
Couldn't handle the heat. Jason, I don't know if you missed my first pick, but this is pretty similar to this. Line of professor get out of the class for assignment. Disclosure, Mom, I've never done that. If you're watching this, that is just not cool to do. But if I had to, yes, I think I'd be very good at it, and I think I would hypothetically have already been very successful at it. So, yeah, shout out. Kobe is again confirming the snoring thing. He'd purposely wake me up to get me to stop. It's true story. And then Kobe says he could go pro in farming sim. So, yeah, farming sim actually farming sim is a much harder game than people would think. Not gonna lie, I tried playing it for the first time a couple months ago. You think it's just driving around tractors for fun, but you actually have to manage finances and stuff like that. You got to pay attention to harvest season. A little bit harder than you think. It's not the easiest to.
So it's like farming simulator? On.
Yeah, farming simulator. You never heard of it?
No, I'm saying finances. So it's like you're a farmer and you're simulating what it would be.
Yeah, you actually have to manage your farm. You have to make sure you can profit.
Yeah, it sounds like what a game called Farming Simulator would be like.
it's a tough game. All right, it's a tough game. All right. Vanny Chris said professional alcohol abuser. He's got more alcohol drop this bottom lip than either of us have drinking our lives. Might be true. Got a few years on us. Fair enough.
I don't disagree with that one.
I think we put up some decent numbers though. Got some decent numbers under our belt, but yeah, you might have a leg up on us there. And yeah, I think that's probably gonna about do it though. We'll let this one kind of just fizzle out here. That'll do it for today's edition of Rock Hard Ball. Thank you guys all for watching. Again, shout out to all the listeners. Blew our previous high viewership out of the water, about twice as many as our previous high tonight. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Hope you guys continue to return. Again, make sure you follow the socials at Rock Hard Ball, at Rock Hard Ball Pod. Basically any social media platform you can find us. So follow there, stay up to date, never miss an episode. Every Monday and Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that's when you can find us. But that being said,
finally, Clarence is back and we're back in studio. So
yes, Clarence is back Monday. We're back in studio. Lots of upgrades. Big things coming as we get closer to the season. So thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you on Monday.